One.
Yeah, it seemed like every day I came in here, you guys asked me, what's going on? How come he hasn't scored? I'm glad he did, and it was the timing was perfect. Couldn't have been a better time in that game. When they had a little bit of momentum, we swung the momentum back in our direction, and huge play. A lot of credit goes to the guys that blocked. They did a nice job blocking and opened that thing up for him. He was able to hit it on the fly there, and he's hard to catch once he gets that thing rolling.
Yeah, it's okay. If you had to pick, it would be after a score, right? Not at the beginning of the half or beginning of the game.
Anytime. If you had to pick, that was a perfect time just because they had so much momentum right there. They had to pick and they scored right away, and we got our crowd back into it and got our team back into it. So, we have to sometimes. I tell our guys all the time that on special teams we have to provide a spark, and that was definitely one of those situations.
Coach, so many times in the playoffs, the games will come down to an overtime or a kick or whatever. So is there some way or something you do to kind of help take that extra load of pressure that could be a season-ending moment for Butker or whatever?
Yeah, it's both ways. We lost we feel like we lost the Titans game. It was our fault because we didn't make we had the two screw-ups on field goal. It could happen for you and it could happen against you. Hopefully you have a lot more in the good column. In the end of the day, when you go back and look at it. So, we talk about how important every play is, and on special teams, each play is worth 5 plays. That's the way I explain it to them. So,
Dave, so much of the discussion around the playoffs is quarterbacks and getting them as much experience as they can for these type of one-game scenarios. For you, how valuable is that for a kicker when you've been with someone for consecutive years and they had some playoff experience as well?
It's good to know that he's been there, done that, and you're not thinking about that at least. And it's good for the whole team, really. I heard somebody said something about, it was Hitchens. He said, it's good to know that you have a guy like Bucker that he gives confidence to the whole team, and I think that's important. And the fact that he has kicked big kicks in playoffs, that's going to really help us down the line here. It's important.
Does the prospect of Armani, playing, getting more defensive snaps affect his special teams?
Yes, yeah, it does. That's the way it works. Guys move up that were, he was a 4-phase special teams guy. Now he's playing a lot of defense, so you have to make up for it in other ways. Other guys will have to pick up, where he can go. We'll put him on spots where we feel like he can really help us. Playoffs are different. It's a one-game elimination deal now too. So every play you're going to try to get your best players on the field, if at all possible. So that's going to be another thing. We'll ask guys, some guys that are playing a lot of offense and defense, to play a little bit more on special teams.
How did he grade out this year?
Good. He was our point leader by 1 point. He beat out Pringle. So I think he had 120 points and Pringle had 119. So. It was a good battle between those two.
How has his time as one of your core special teams players
Excuse
helped
me?
him? How has his time, Watts, as one of your core special teams player, helped him to make this transition to a potentially larger role on defense?
It's every down, every play that you play on special teams, you're developing yourself as an offensive or defensive player. And you're blocking, you're tackling, and just the game experience and how important each play is. It's going to help him with confidence on defense. And it's not like he hasn't been practicing over there either, so all this time is going to really help him. And he has great leaders back there too,
So often you hear a lot of defensive backs saying that they like to train their eyes.
Yep.
Have you seen that evolution with him transitioning from?
There's no question that I see development in players' instincts, through special teams. And, that's the only guys that I really can, respond to, so.
David, is it more so you being mindful because of the playoffs of some trickeration, or is there more enjoyment that you may present?
We're always thinking about things that we can do as well as things that could happen to us, especially in the playoffs. Peyton, with his onside kick that he did in the Super Bowl. To me it was crazy, but he did it and it ended up working out for him. But you never know what you're going to get, so you have to be ready, and we talk about that, especially now with the one-game elimination.
Football theory question for you, Dave. In all your years being a special teams coach in this league, how often have you had like a really, really good, like multi-phase special teams guy that you could kind of tell, like, wasn't in love with the game of football? Like,
That wasn't in love with the game of
that-
football?
Yeah,
Well,
obviously no names, but I think there's a connection, right? Guys who love the game and
yeah, there's no question. I mean, I mean, special teams is dirty work, you know, and you're asking guys to do things that, you know, normal guys wouldn't do. So, you know, you got to love it to do at the level that we do it at.
Has it ever happened? Like,
Not, you know, like, you got somebody in your mind.
no, actually I
No.
don't.
Okay.
I definitely am not
No.
thinking of anyone in particular. I just kind of made that connection myself and was wondering if maybe there's some exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
Not asking for a name, though. Just wondering if there's exceptions.
Yeah, I just, you know, I think it's important that they love the game to be able to play. You know, I don't know how you could do it with it if you didn't, really.
Couple more guys.
Coach, you had mentioned Harrison Bucker earlier here. I'm going to take you back to your history and also Coach Reed. Reed, when he was in Philadelphia, had one kicker.
Yeah, David Akers.
You had Robbie in Chicago. But what are some of the qualities that you might see in Harrison that kind of like compares to those?
Student of the game, studies it, watches everybody's kicks every week. He wears those guys out in the video room because he goes in there and he has his own little cubicle. They got him set up in there, and he spends the whole day in there. Unlike other kickers, you know, that might not be as studious, they might go hang out in the locker room, but he studies the game and he knows it, you know, in and out. He's a special guy. He's smart. He's very smart, and he's very critical of himself. You know, and I think that's one of the common things that in a lot of the great kickers, you know, they look at themselves and they hold themselves accountable. You know, that's important. It's not somebody else's fault. It's not the holder's fault. It's not the snapper's fault. It's my fault, you know, and he does that. That's why he's great.
Okay, thanks, guys.